Thanks for stopping by at Twisted Art Designs. I'm doing another swatch sheet demo, and this is for Caran Luminance Pencils. Their number is 6901. Their colors are painted at the end. The name and number of the pencil is at the end, and they're quite beautiful pencils. And I've made these swatch sheets to swatch out the colors, and I thought I would just share them with you and show you what I've done. I put my swatch sheets in a 3-ring binder in sheet protectors, so the swatch sheets will go back to back like this so that I can put it in the book and refer to it like this. In the section for pencils, my swatch sheets have product name is Caran Luminance. The category is going to go into my colored pencil category, and then the swatch sheets have the pencil number, the product name, the color name, and then a nice generous space here for swatching out a gradient from dark, medium, and light. So as I swatch these, what I like to do is put a single layer down. If you're familiar with working with colored pencils, you do it in light layers. You're very light-handed, and you do a layer, and then you do another layer, and then you do another layer to get your gradients going from dark to light. And if you come across the grain diagonally, the grain of your paper, you can get an even heavier coverage like this. And so I like to have my swatch sheets have enough space so that I can really play around with my pencils and get a feel for what they can do for light or dark to light. So Caran Luminance pencils, they are supposedly the most light, fast, permanent colored pencil on the market. They are Swiss made. They're super, super creamy. So they're light resistant, they're super creamy, they have really high pigment. The reason I purchased them, I mean, my artwork is not on a professional level. I, watch my other videos. I do a lot of different styles of artwork, and I mostly do art journaling and things like that. So it's not something that's going to be something that's resold or something that was commissioned. I have done some commissioned pieces that were by donations, but as far as quality, I think that quality is dependent on you getting what you pay for, and they are more pricey. And for me, I absolutely love colored pencils. They're one of my favorite art supplies, and I love using colored pencils in all different mediums and on all different projects. And as I tried a couple of these, I realized how much I truly love them. And in order to afford them, because as my grandfather used to say, I don't have 2 nickels to rub together, I had a vintage Martin guitar, and I sold it so that I could buy the 76 colors of Caran Luminance. So that shows you how much I truly, truly love these pencils. And as I've worked on my swatch book, I have printed out all the sheets for my different brands of colored pencils all onto the same mixed media paper. The paper that you print your swatch sheet on makes a total difference as to what you're going to see, and you don't want to use copier paper. You want to use either a smooth watercolor paper or a mixed media paper, something that's of good quality, so that you really get a good sense of what that art supply will look like and what it will do. And most art journals, most sketchbooks and things that you buy now have really nice quality paper, so you wouldn't want to swatch on inexpensive copier paper. It just doesn't do the job, because as you're coloring these in and you're going back and forth and you're kind of going at an angle because you're wanting to work that color into the tooth of the paper, that's where you're going to see how it's going to perform, how it's going to lay down, what kind of a wax bloom it's going to get, what kind of coverage it's going to get for mixing and shading and all those things. So if you do want to purchase these swatch sheets, my suggestion is get some good paper, good quality paper, cut it into 8.5 by 11 and put that into your printer. And it doesn't matter what kind of printer. Look at that. Aren't these beautiful? They're just so pretty. I mean, I've shown the other pencils that I've swatched and look at the difference. You truly, truly get what you pay for. They do have a wax one. Let me see if I can show that. But it's not very much. It's very, very minimal. In fact, I can't even get it to pick up on, to pick up on camera the little tiny bit of wax bloom from these pencils. But they are beautiful. They are beautiful. So anyway, if you have them, you can buy them open stock, which is really great too. And so you can get a couple at a time and just take your time and build up. Try a couple. I always suggest with any art supply, whether it's a brush marker or a Copic marker or a type of pencil or a pastel, anything, buy one or two and come home and play with it. You know, work on it, try it on different types of art that you do, try to branch out and do some different types of art maybe that you haven't tried with that supply. But if you stick to just buying a couple, you don't waste a lot of money buying a great big beautiful set of pencils. I've seen sets, you know, like 48 pencils and they look so great and I want to buy them really bad, but I resist because I have purchased one or two here and there in open stock of different brands, and then when I play with them, they're grainy, they're not smooth, they're not creamy, they don't blend well, and so I'm glad I didn't waste my money on buying a great big set. So even with these, for your own self, buy one or two, try them out. I guarantee you'll fall in love with these because why wouldn't you? They're the smoothest, most beautiful colored pencils that there are. And then build your setup and swatch them out as you get them. So as you get one, go to the spot on the sheet, swatch it out. It'll show you what you have, what you need to still get. You can work your way around to, you know, I need a couple more blues, I need a couple more purples, and build your setup that way. So having a swatch sheet is just, it's beneficial in a million different ways. The other thing about Caran d'Ache Luminance pencils is in most pencils I've found that it's so important to swatch because the color that you see isn't necessarily the color that it is when you color it onto paper, and these are pretty darn close. So look at that. It's still off slightly. As you can see, the end of the pencil is a little redder than what it colors out. So that's kind of, again, why it's important to swatch, because look at that. See, that's the color, and look at the difference. It's close. I think it's about the closest of any brand that I've come to, but it still doesn't give you the perfect indication. So this is what I use this for, is I flip to my page in the book when I'm going to use pencils. Like, you know, these are ones that I would use for doing faces and hair and portraits and things. And I flip to this and I can refer to this and say, okay, I know for sure that this is the color that I want to use. This is the undertone that I want to use, because you can see what it's going to look like. And Caran d'Ache on the website does have a list of the colors with little pictures of the colors. They don't have a blank swatch sheet for these pencils, but they do have a listing of the colors, the little boxes that show the different colors. But when I tried to print it out, it is so far off from these, it just didn't work for me. So I went ahead and created my own swatch sheet, because I think it's better to swatch them yourself anyway. You're getting a true color of right from the pencil, what it actually looks like, and you're playing around with your art supplies and getting a feel for them. So you can print that off from the Caran d'Ache website if you want to just have that. There wasn't even a place next to it where I could go and do a swatch next to it, so I did not print theirs. And I'm not trying to convince you to buy my sheets. My sheets are super inexpensive. I'm sharing it because since I'm already doing it for myself, hey, you know, I've done the work. Why not share it with everybody else? If you don't want to take the time to make this kind of a sheet on your computer, or maybe you don't have the the app to do this kind of a thing, then spend a couple bucks, buy the sheet, print it out on your own paper, swatch out your pencils. The sheet you get will be blank, so it will be like this is, and then you fill it in with your pencils yourself and do your own swatch. I hope my swatch sheets, you're finding them useful and helpful for making your swatch book, and thank you for the people so far who have been purchasing my swatch sheets and using them and enjoying them in their swatch books. I appreciate that very much, and until next time when I swatch out another art supply, continue to make art, because art soothes the heart.